This next story has a lot of people wondering what the government is thinking at a time when it's been under fire for cutting some services to veterans. CBC News has learned the government is spending millions of dollars on military uniform changes. James Cudmore has the story.
For the past 4.5 decades, if you wanted to figure out the rank of that army officer in fancy dress uniform, you'd look at the number and size of the gold bars stitched on the sleeve. But that's all changing now. Last summer, the Conservative government ordered the army to revert to the system of pips and crowns used back in the Second World War.
We're very proud of our Canadian heritage. Our military heritage is an important part of that.
Turns out getting rid of those bars is too difficult to do, so the Army stopped trying. Instead, it's going to hand out new jackets to 13,000 Army officers, along with new insignia at a cost of $3.4 million. It will also spend another $1 million on color-coded divisional patches for all its troops and $1.3 million on new old-style insignia for Navy officers. More than $5 million to achieve that retro look.
It's a waste of money compared to what is actually needed by people in the armed forces.
An odd way to spend scarce budget dollars if you keep the Prime Minister's 2012 order in mind.
The forces must be restructured to ensure administrative burdens are reduced and resources freed up for the front line.
We asked the military to show us an example of the new insignia, but it said the pips haven't been issued yet. So we went to the Canadian War Museum. But even there, pips and crowns aren't part of the daily display. They're tucked away behind closed doors in steel artifact vaults. Here you see the pips and the crown and red gorgets of a Canadian post-war brigadier. It's all that old stuff that's coming back.
They have no right to.
Retired Colonel Pat Stogren led Canada's surge into Kandahar in 2002. Pips, he says, are no priority.
Since our troops have been blooded in Afghanistan, to them, if you're talking about uniforms and you're not talking about making their loads lighter, making it bulletproof, or keeping them warm and dry, then I dare say this is for public consumption.
A spokesman for the Prime Minister says the order to move back to those old insignia is designed to strengthen the link between today's troops and yesterday's heroes. And besides, he says those jackets would have to be replaced someday anyway. James Cudmore, CBC News, Ottawa.